will enhance the overall quality of healthcare services across the island. And 6, peace of mind for all St. Lucians. Knowing that quality healthcare is always within reach and accessible provides a sense of security. Families will no longer live in fear of medical emergencies they cannot afford, and every child will have the opportunity to grow up healthy and strong. With the United Workers' Party, St. Lucians will certainly have a healthier future. The United Workers' Party has a proven track record of investing in St. Lucia's health sector, from improving hospital infrastructure to increasing the availability of medical resources. Our vision for St. Lucia includes a robust healthcare system where no citizen is left to suffer due to lack of accessibility or affordability. The abandonment of the NHI by the SLP was a betrayal of the people's trust, but under the United Workers' Party, we will restore this critical program because we believe in a St. Lucia where healthcare is accessible, affordable, and reliable for every citizen. When you vote for the United Workers' Party, you are voting for a healthier, stronger, and more secure St. Lucia. Your health is our priority, and we will deliver. A United Workers' Party government plans to change this situation. This crisis demands more than just words. It requires leadership action and solutions. As a government, we will take decisive steps to restore law and order, provide opportunities for our people, and take our communities back from crime and violence. We will do the following. 1, empowering our youth with after-school and weekend programs. We will introduce holistic after-school and weekend programs that keep our youth engaged in sports training, providing positive alternatives to crime and idleness. Number 2, creating more economic opportunities. Many of our young men turn to crime due to lack of employment, and so we will work to ensure that we provide support to small businesses, create more entrepreneurial opportunities, and provide them with training programs to help individuals become more self-sufficient. 3, we will improve access to affordable housing. We believe that poor living conditions contribute to crime, and we will upgrade and develop affordable housing to provide solutions so that families can live in safer, more stable environments. 4, we will use technology to fight crime. We will invest in CCTV surveillance networks, smart street lighting, and crime detecting technology to help deter and solve crimes more efficiently. 5, revitalizing sports and community development. We will introduce and upgrade sports facilities across the island and organize regular sporting competitions to keep our young men engaged in structured activities instead of turning to crime. And I say this given the fact that the opportunity for this to take place has been eroded by the squandering of the funds that should be used for youth and sporting activities from the National Lottery after guaranteeing a loan of $80 million and having the National Lottery to finance that loan with $80,000 monthly, leaving absolutely no resources to provide for those programs for young people. We will introduce youth rehabilitation and second chance programs. We will introduce rehabilitation programs for at-risk youth and for first-time offenders, giving them a chance to turn their lives around through education, skills training, and mentorship.
Because you must understand that St. Lucia had no new investments for a very long time, And these things are a fact, the verifiable fact, as I always say. There was no new investment in this country from 2016, 2017.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre continues to push the false narrative that between 2016 and 2021, there were no new investments in St. Lucia under the United Workers' Party. But the results and facts are clear. While the world battled a global pandemic, the UWP was hard at work laying the foundation for economic growth, creating real jobs, and attracting major investments that began to transform our economy. Projects like Cabot St. Lucia, the DSH Pearl of the Caribbean, ITEL BPO, and Ojo Labs created thousands of job opportunities for young people and professionals. We welcomed Inter-Caribbean Airways, while Digital's OECS headquarters opened up. A group of investors also began construction of the Courtyard Marriott at Point Seraphim, further boosting investor confidence. Serenity at Coconut Bay was delivered, alongside the opening of Bellevue Hotel and the Harbor Club. Another investment is the state-of-the-art IAMJet private jet facility, which was built in Vieux Fort. We even signed a historic agreement with Royal Caribbean, Carnival Cruise Line, and MSC to develop a cruise home port in Vieux Fort, a game changer for tourism and job creation in the South. And let's not forget the Orange Grove Plaza in Bois de Ouage and the proposed Sanders La Sousse 380-suite resort, a world-class development that was tragically derailed by political interference from SLP operatives, robbing St. Lucians of hundreds of jobs and millions in economic benefits. Ironically, many of these same projects were opposed by Philip JP and the SLP while they were in opposition. Yet today, they enjoy the benefits and take credit for the progress they once tried to block. So don't be fooled by the spin. The truth is this: the United Workers' Party delivered. We built, we attracted investment, we created opportunities. And we did it while navigating one of the toughest global crises in recent history. The facts are clear and the evidence is everywhere. The United Workers' Party delivers. Philip J. Pierre is just trying to rewrite history as usual. Pierre, Pabo.
Jeremiah Norbert and his desperate labor comrades want you to believe that little was done in Micoud North under the UWP from 2016, despite the clear evidence all around. Even with a 2-year disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the UWP laid the foundation and began the transformation of Micoud North in a way the constituency had never seen before. We built the new Micoud Wellness Center, upgraded the Micoud playing field, built the new Micoud Early Childhood Development Center, constructed a smart block for the Micoud Secondary School. We also built the new Micoud Market, which the SLP has abandoned for the last 4 years. We constructed 2 community parks, one in New Extension Micoud and one in Monrepo. We completely rehabilitated the Micoud Village Main Road. We also completely rehabilitated the Monrepo Community Road. We rehabilitated the Prale Community Center, constructed numerous community roads, including Hillview Road, Sesendescat Drive, Wen Road, New Extension Micoud Roads, Grass Street, and the St. Marie Road. Hundreds of students benefited from scholarships and school bursaries. We also rehabilitated the Micoud Village Public Laundry by the Sea. We constructed a new wing at the Monrepo Passias Combined School and gave the fishermen of Prale a new home. Residents of Micoud also had the benefit of free wireless internet in parts of the constituency. The United Workers' Party delivered for Micoud North, and we're committed to doing it again. Vote Elisha Norbert and the UWP to right the wrongs in Micoud North.
Malwat! Why them Lucians so make them this?
Sui pui.
Some 2.5%
HCSL thing
is a tax vibe. So what that have to do with people getting meg? But just now, to me them people paying VAT already.
Exactly. The tax is calculated on the cost of goods. So one time the price go increase, Kuma. The Lucians end up paying more than 15%.
Mama!
Gasa, just imagine $100 go buy less groceries. People getting poor. Things like rent and utility bills go also increase, Gasa.
Real Malawi vibe?
All them things the people doing to stay healthy, like gym, healthy eating, and safety and security, could be harder to get because people ain't have money.
Partner, if them people ain't have enough money, they ain't go have leftover food for us to eat. The bins go be empty. Wow!
Things real happening to them Lucians. Look out for us again soon. We go show you all more.
St. Lucia is at a crossroads. Mismanagement, incompetence, and rising crime under the Philip J.P. administration have left us all struggling. But under Alan Chasney's leadership, our country flourished. Taxes were lowered, 17 health centers were upgraded, the OKE hospital opened, over $12 million in hospital bills were wiped clean, lifting a burden off of our people. Construction of the state-of-the-art St. Jude Hospital began. The forensic lab was reopened. Homicides were 25% lower than they are today. New schools were built, 30% of our roads rehabilitated, and sports facilities across the country received major upgrades, empowering our youth. He successfully led us through the COVID-19 pandemic, winning global recognition for St. Lucia's top care management. Alan Chasney, strong leadership to save our St. Lucia.
Life in St. Lucia has become unbearable. Every day, we feel the crushing weight of a government that's out of touch with the struggles of its people. They've collected millions in taxes on fuel, leaving us paying more for gasoline, cooking gas, kerosene, and diesel. And as if that wasn't enough, the Health and Security Levy has made everything more expensive, adding an additional 2.5% to the cost of goods and services. Bus fares have gone up, bread costs more, electricity, water, food, internet, even your mobile credit, it all costs more. For many St. Lucians, their paychecks don't stretch like they used to. Meanwhile, the government has reduced subsidies on flour, making basic necessities harder to afford. And while they raise prices on you, they've removed 700 people from the public assistance list, leaving our most vulnerable families with no support. St. Lucia is paying the price for a government that refuses to care. How much more can we take? How many more sacrifices must we make while they mismanage our country's finances? It's time to fight back, to stand up for our families, our future, and our country. No more excuses, no more broken promises. We can't afford to stay silent. The high cost of living is suffocating us, but together we can make our voices heard. St. Lucia deserves better. Pierre Pabo.
Senator Lisa Joa here, who also serves as the communications director for the St. Lucia Labour Party, continues to blatantly lie and deceive St. Lucians. In a recent press brief, the SLP spokeswoman tried to deny that St. Lucia's agriculture sector declined by 17% in 2023. These are the facts according to the 2023 Social and Economic Review, a document prepared by the Ministry of Finance. On page 32, the opening paragraph reads, "Based on preliminary estimates, the agriculture sector's real value added declined by 17% in 2023. It went further on pages 33 to 38 to highlight the decline in the various agriculture subsectors. Fishing production declined by 4.6%. Livestock production declined by 17.3%. Chicken production declined by 11.7%. Pork production declined by 41.6%. Egg production declined by 7.8%. Banana production declined by 45.5%. Non-banana crops declined by 17.3%. And regional exports of bananas declined by 54%. The future of St. Lucia's food security is in jeopardy under Labour. The UWP has a plan and is ready to right the wrongs of this reckless SLP administration. Our farmers and fisher folk deserve better. Lisa, Prosper and Philippe Pierre Pabo.
At a recent briefing, Prime Minister Philippe Pierre claimed that the Custody Suites project has been delayed due to bathroom sinks and toilets breaking during shipment. Not just once, but twice.
There was a series of unfortunate events. Number one, there was supposed to have the toilets, the special toilets. They got broken. When in shipping. My information is they will send back to all the new ones, and then the other ones came back and they sent back the same broken ones. So my information, you see, and a lot.
But here's the truth. The sinks and toilets designed for prison facilities are made of stainless steel, built to withstand extreme conditions and nearly impossible to break in transit. The Prime Minister's claim doesn't add up. This project was initially estimated to cost $1.5 million. Somehow, that budget tripled to $4.5 million. And now there are reports that the costs have spiraled even higher. With every delay and excuse, taxpayers are forced to bear the burden of rising costs, while the government dodges accountability. Why isn't Prime Minister Pierre giving the people the truth about what's really causing the delays and escalating the costs? St. Lucia deserves a leader who takes responsibility, not one who resorts to dubious excuses.
Good morning and welcome to the United Workers' Party weekly press briefing. I'd like this morning to welcome all of you who are viewing on live stream. As always, those of you around St. Lucia, what a special welcome to our people in the diaspora. We know that you are always tuned in, and we welcome the fact that you continue to show interest in what's taking place in your homeland, St. Lucia. Today we have with us as presenters the endorsed candidate for Vieux Fort South, Leanna Johannes, Lady Lee. We also have the endorsed candidate for Vieux Fort North, Callix, Xavier, Kakal. And we have also who will, among other things, give us a synopsis in the Creole language of what is being discussed here today, the deputy political leader and candidate for Castries Southeast, Guy Joseph, the real guy. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, without any further delay, I would like to call on our first presenter, Ms. Johannes, Lady Lee, who will be speaking on the subject related to the South and the constituency, in particular, Vieux Fort South.
A pleasant morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of Vieux Fort South, my fellow St. Lucians, a pleasant morning. I am here today to address you on the dismal record of the Labour Party in Vieux Fort South and how I plan to transform the South with the United Workers' Party. I stand before you not only as the endorsed candidate for the United Workers' Party, nor as someone trying to win your vote with flashy slogans, empty words and promises, but I am here as a concerned citizen. Born and bred of the South, and most importantly, a voice for the people of Vieux Fort South who are tired of being ignored, tired of being forgotten, tired of being fed empty promises, elections after election by the St. Lucia Labour Party. I have a question to ask you. How many of the promises made in the 2021 manifesto by the St. Lucia Labour Party, how many of those things, those empty promises, were fulfilled? They promised us to resume the construction of the administrative complex to include a performing arts center. Was that accomplished? They promised to design and construct a boardwalk from the fisheries complex to the Vieux Fort market. Was that accomplished? They promised to rehabilitate the roads in Cedar Heights, Larishes, and Cantonment. Then again, I asked the question, was that accomplished? Right now, roads in Cedar Heights, particular roads in Cedar Heights, selectively, yes, and I say selectively, are being constructed. And the people know why those particular roads have been selected. I say no more on this. Have they vested ownership of house lots for the residents of Vieux Fort Town Cantonment? These, in the 2021 manifesto, have not been accomplished. Sunday's presentation was no different. Nothing different. It was a speech full of platitudes, recycled promises, and empty rhetoric. A speech so lacking in substance, it felt like déjà vu. The same song, same dance, same script, but read by a different cast. That is what we received on Sunday. Mr. Butcher's address to the people of Vieux Fort was, to put it blatantly, more of the same, nothing different. Mr. Butcher was introduced by none other than Dr. Kennedy Anthony, the man who has represented Vieux Fort South for the last 28 years. The man who made promises after promises, many of them never kept. The man who told us the South would rise. Have you all seen that happen? Not at all. The man who told us Vieux Fort would become a hub of economic growth. But look around you. Lo gade en Vieux Fort, dis-moi qui ça oué? Rien. Youth unemployment in Vieux Fort is more than 50%. We are the third poorest community in the entire country. Can you imagine that the second major town in St. Lucia is the third poorest community? The town is practically a ghost town. L'on peut marcher en ville Vieux Fort après midi à ce particular jour. It is a ghost town, especially on a Wednesday afternoon. Rien pas qu'à marcher en Vieux Fort. Basic infrastructure is decaying. Roads are impassable. Investments are drying up. Vieux Fort South is one of the only constituencies and major towns without a community center, without a public library, and without a safe space for recreation. After 28 years of elective representation, 15 years being Prime Minister, this is the legacy of Dr. Kennedy Anthony. My question is, and now they are being told, we have been told to embrace the student. Are you going to embrace his student? The man he calls his protege? Is that someone you will rely on? I don't think so. That should send chills down the spine of every Vieux Fortian who has lived through decades of broken promises. Most of the so-called vision is recycled from the United Workers' Party's past plans. Nothing new. The road development, the new access routes, the infrastructure upgrades, all projects long proposed by the United Workers' Party and later stalled or killed by the St. Lucia Labour Party when they came into office. C'est ça yo fait. Yo choue a chaise project la quitte la pour Jean Vieux Fort. Remember the plan to construct a road to link Lower Vieux Fort to the highway? That was the United Workers' Party vision. What did the SLP do? That is a big question. They built a laundry facility right in the intended path of that road, where, yes, it was built right in the intended path of that road. And not only that, the facility they built is non-functional. You just construct a laundry, mete a go by concrete and mitashi mea, eki feme, and ye paka fetepi, e just feme. Less than 400 feet away, there is another already existing laundry plant doing the same job. So dis-moi, Xavier for, Puchi, yo block chimea, pour mettre a laundry là, et nous hani a lot laundry, ka fait même travail là. Dis-moi, Puchi. So now Mr. Butcher wants to sell us the same idea all over again, pretending that it is new. Lots of hot air was spewed. We need results after 28 long years. If it had not been done then, do you think it will be done now? I don't think so. Mr. Butcher was also embarrassed if you pay close attention to the speech. He was also embarrassed to talk about the port development because he knows that it was under the St. Lucia Labour Party, under the leadership of Dr. Kennedy Anthony, the docks was closed. Hundreds of Vieux Fortians were sent home after decades, and I mean decades, of being the docks being the place of employment. Did Mr. Butcher not advise Dr. Anthony as his protege that it was better to invest in a crane for the people of Vieux Fort than to send those men and women home? Wasn't replacing a crane a much better idea than sending them home? Think about that. Think about our future. Where was he when Dr. Anthony sat back and said absolutely nothing? When Philip J. Pierre stalled discussions pertaining to the development of the cruise port in Vieux Fort, where was he? Does Mr. Butcher think that we Vieux Fortians don't deserve a cruise port and the employment of development that goes with it? Don't we deserve that? Why then did he not stand up for us and condemn the GPH deal that forbids any cruise port development in the South? He was the campaign manager. All the bright visions being seen now, why wasn't it being seen back then? A trelma tout moun te avec then. A trelma zie tout moun ouve. All the bright ideas are coming through. My thinking is that if it was not done then, it will not be done now. Where was he when Philip J. Pierre shut down the airport redevelopment project and sent home hundreds of men from Vieux Fort South? Does he not care that both St. Vincent and Dominica have now international airports, and St. Lucia has an airport in 2025 with leaking roofs, visitors running in the rain? Moi-même et mal pied moi, teni pour courir la plia pour me board flight Delta. Ça pas bon pièce. Moi ouais moun aso wheelchair a la pli ka ale aso flight Delta. C'est bagay ça la pas bon pièce. Nous ni besoin changement en Vieux Fort. Where was he when Philip J. Pierre stood in Parliament and made Vieux Fort an escalated crime zone? Did he speak out for the young men and women of Vieux Fort South? Those are questions we need to take into consideration. Up to date, murder is happening all over the island, yet Vieux Fort remains an escalated crime zone. We need that removed. We need that stain off our backs in Vieux Fort. Mr. Butcher claims to fame is that he was the campaign manager for Dr. Kennedy Anthony in the last elections. Yet still, he could not get Dr. Anthony to fulfill the promises he made in 1. Building a bus terminal to give the bus drivers a safe space to operate with dignity. Why, after 28 years of him being a key player in Dr. Anthony's campaign camp, he has not agitated or even persuaded him to build a bus terminal? Say chauffeur, Yo ni bouzesa. Nou ni larichous, gwas. Nou ni soufriye, labo wi chwaze. Tout se moun sa sou yon Boston. Le soleil la chaud, yo ni pou asi de ba pied bois. La pa ni pièce pou evite, pièce shelter, la pa ni anyen. Yo pas confortable. Nou ni bouze a bus terminal en Vieux Fort. These people, the bus drivers, deserve clarity, not confusion. The people of the Vieux Fort deserve better. We deserve plans, not platitudes. We deserve vision, not vagueness. We deserve action and not ambitionless ambition. Not once during his speech did he provide credible solution to the pressing issues we face, especially the youth unemployment crisis in Vieux Fort. No job creation strategy was mentioned. No investment in skills training. No incentives for local entrepreneurship. Not even a mention of the realities of the young people lives with everyday living in Vieux Fort. Not a single project mentioned was tailored for the unique and urgent needs of the people of Vieux Fort. They were all general initiatives rolled out across the country, projects that Vieux Fort merely happened to be near, not projects that we built in Vieux Fort. That omission speaks volumes. It tells us that Vieux Fort has not just been neglected, it has been rejected. It has been treated like a distant relative in the Labour Party family, kept around when convenient, ignored when not. A bastard child of the St. Lucia Labour Party, abandoned while other constituencies receives attention, investment and care. We in Vieux Fort receive absolutely nothing. We are not fools. We are not fools in Vieux Fort. We are wise people. We are not fools. We are not gullible either. We are not the same people who you fooled 20 years ago. We have wizened. We have broadened our thinking. We are informed. We are alert. We are awake. I say. We have had enough. We have allowed the St. Lucia Labour Party to use Vieux Fort as a staging ground for political theatre for way too long. This must stop. They show up during election season with red shirts and bullhorns, with flags and singing songs. But then, when the music stops, the votes are cast. Yo dispawet. Apo eleksyon. Koyo. Yo dispawet. Our roads stay broken. Our youths stay jobless. Our future stays forgotten. Nupaka pwesa ako. I say. Under my leadership, Vieux Fort South will have real representation. You will have a woman who have your best interests at heart. A woman that is for the people. One that believes in development, economic growth, our safety, job creations, creating opportunities, and creating a safe haven where investors will want to come into Vieux Fort and invest like they used to do back in the early 90s. All this has demolished, gone away from us all. We need to bring back Vieux Fort to what it used to be before. We need to bring back the life. Mene la vie, mene l'argent, mene progrès en Vieux Fort encore. We need those things back in Vieux Fort. Nous pas qu'à ça encore. Under the United Workers' Party government, the people of Vieux Fort South will have investment that benefits us all, not just the party elite. Tout moun kaini benefit en Vieux Fort. Together, we will have a voice in the decision that affects our lives. I, Leanna Johannes-Paul, will be the leader that will listen. One that will listen to the plights and the grievances of the people I will not just make decisions on your behalf. Y'all will be part of the decision making. We will dialogue. Put your trust in me and get proper representation. Vieux Fort is not a political playground. It is not a safe seat to be taken for granted. It is not a forgotten corner of this nation. It is a proud community. We are proud people, full of talent, potential, and we are resilient people. And we will no longer accept second-class treatment. Vieux Fort will rise again. To the Labour Party, I say, time's up. C'est l'épisode allez. You have had your chance. What we receive in return is neglect, lack of progress in Vieux Fort. You made your promises. You broke them. And now the people of Vieux Fort are ready to hold you, and I mean to hold you accountable. Vieux Fort South, let us rise together. Let us demand better. Let us rebuild Vieux Fort, not with empty promises, but with concrete plans, real investment, and honest leadership. Because Vieux Fort deserves better. Vieux Fort deserves proper representation, and that you will get in me. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Leanna Johannes. That is the United Workers' Party endorsed candidate for Vieux Fort South, speaking on the woes that exist today and the reason why change has become necessary. After 28 years of unbroken representation by Dr. Kenny Anthony, the man who endorsed Danny Butcher as his successor, what we had in Vieux Fort was predominantly slaughtering of human beings, to the extent that Dr. Anthony's successor, Philip J. Pierre, branded Vieux Fort an escalated crime zone because of the slaughter that was taking place in the community. I want to remind the people of Vieux Fort that a synonym for slaughter is butcher. And remember, these two words describe the act of killing people. And this is what we must stop to remove the stain that has been placed on the constituency of Vieux Fort and the brand that has been placed on Vieux Fort by the St. Lucia Labour Party. So, ladies and gentlemen, you in the South have a responsibility, not just for Vieux Fort, but the rest of St. Lucia, to ensure that we wipe out any possibilities of continued slaughtering or butchering in the South. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on another of the candidates who will be doing battle in the South. This time, I call on Callix Xavier, better known as Kakal, who will be speaking on the general topic of security, but in particular, zoning in on what is happening with our police here in St. Lucia. I would like to call on Mr. Callix Xavier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Montut. A pleasant good morning to all viewing in St. Lucia and abroad. As we all know, the police has been under tremendous pressure for the past few years with escalation of crime, especially murders in this country. I am here today to highlight three major issues which confronts the police. The first one deals with health and security of our police officers. On the issue of bulletproof vests, while the collective agreement did not specifically speak to bulletproof vests, Article 33.1c Health and Safety Environment states, the employer agrees to provide all police officers with the necessary clothing and equipment required to prevent injuries at the workplace and also whilst they're on the field. It is clear that all safety equipment must be made available to every police officer by the government. The bulletproof vest that the Prime Minister is all over the media talking about is not an initiative of his government, but it was actually a proposal of the PWA, the Police Welfare Association, to forego an increase in the risk allowance and mandate the government to use the monies towards the purchase of bulletproof vests for each police officer. So, had it not been for the Police Welfare Association and the police officers sacrificing an increase in the risk allowance, the police would not have reached an agreement with the government as it pertains to bulletproof vests. So bravo to our hard-working police officers. The collective agreement was signed on the 15th of May 2025, but to date, the government has not lived up to their end of that agreement. To this date, the MOU have not been signed, and the police officers have to share a bulletproof vest. They will put the soak sweat vest in the sun to dry, and the next police officer on the other shift will wear that bulletproof vest. Can you imagine a bulletproof vest? The external surface is made out of cloth, and it is soaked in sweat, and the police officers have to place it in the sun so that the other officers who come in to work to wear that very same bulletproof vest that the previous officer had used for the entire day in the hot sun. So I ask, is this hygienic? Does the current government care about the health and safety of our officers? Does the government really give the police all the resources that they claim that they give to the police? And I want to ask another question. Does the government give the police resources, and have they seen a reduction in crime due to the resources that they have given to the police? This leads to my second issue, police insurance. And I must say this one is really close to my heart. Police insurance. In the year 2018, during the reign of the UWP, the Police Welfare Association successfully negotiated an insurance plan for the police with the government of St. Lucia. This plan covered accidental death and dismemberment. So, si un police hen koye di nan accident et puis mort, famille madame li, riche li, yo ka hen $300,000, $300,000. Group term life benefit. Si un police mort through natural causes, a police will take it just more, whilst it take a serve and it Royal St. Lucia Police Force la, yo ka hen $100,000. Beneficiary a ka hen $100,000. So yo ka sa pran ka se mamay la, because you sav, yo ni mamay, yo ni madame, yo ni famille. Tout ça, insurance sa ka couvert. There is also another benefit where the medical expense reimbursement is up to $75,000 EC. This insurance covers 1,300 officers, and It is an annual premium of $900 per officer. So do the maths. It's only $100,000, approximately $100,000 per month that the government has to pay to the insurer. All that was accomplished under the United Workers Administration. Can you believe, less than a week ago, information from the Police Welfare Association president that the government was in arrears of 6 months on the payment of this policy. Gouvernement a besoin kadwe $600,000 à l'insurance là. Passé 6 mois poko payer. The insurance company is threatening to terminate that policy. They are threatening to pull out. Again, I ask the question, does this government really care about the police officers and their families? My folks, I was a police officer and I went out every day not knowing if I will return to my home. But I was comforted by this insurance. I knew if anything happened to me, I was covered. My wife would have received something from the insurance, $300,000 if it was an accidental death. And if it was through natural causes, she would have received $100,000. We must understand the plight of our workers. These police officers, I am certainly sure that there are 2 wives of police officers. For over 6 months, they have not received anything from that insurance. Their husbands have passed away. And I beg to ask the question, is it due to the fact that this policy is not being serviced properly by the government of St. Lucia? Is it due to the fact that because they are in arrears, the insurer is unable to pay what they owe to the family of these police officers? I worked with one, and that police officer every day would walk in to the police station. He rode a motorcycle. On mornings, he got wet. The following day, he would come back to work with a flu. My folks, I really want to ask this question. Does the government care about our hard-working men and women in uniform? Do they care about the health and safety? Where do their priorities lie? The third issue, I couldn't help but notice in the last press conference of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the Deputy Prime Minister, Ernest Hille, and the Crime Prevention Minister indicated that they had given the police all the resources to fight crime, and they are not responsible for what's happening now. But I must tell you, this is the MO, the modus operandi of this government. They never want to take accountability for their offices. Instead, they stand by the criminals and decide to play the follow the leader game. But my brothers and sisters in uniform, today I stand with you. When others point fingers, remember this. You are the ones who run towards danger while others flee. You are the shield between chaos and order. Under the United Workers government, United Workers Party government, we will ensure that we prioritize health, safety, and well-being of police officers. We did it before, and we can do it again. We will never allow the premium of only $100,000 to lapse, to put our officer at a point where they are uninsured and uncovered. Do not be discouraged, for the true service is proven in sacrifice, not in praise. Let us stand firm, unite, and committed to protecting our people. Together we will rise above criticism and restore confidence in justice. My people of Vieux Fort North, I have seen and heard the Labour Party operatives over social media trying to assassinate my character. There was an incident which took place on Saturday, which you only saw a short clip on social media. I want to address this incident today. For over 3 years now, I have been the product of attacks from the Labour Party because of what I believe in and what I stand for. This was the same Labour Party who had confidence in Kakal, transferred him from Dennery Station to Vieux Fort when there was an escalation in crime as the operations sergeant. I bet everybody in Vieux Fort saw me on the streets with my officers. This is the same Labour Party government who took me from Vieux Fort and transferred me to the community policing unit in Castries as sergeant in charge. And so many other things that was promised to me that I don't want to speak of on this platform. But now, when they cannot get anything on me, I've said to them my life is an open book. I knew what I entered into, politics, and my life is an open book. As a police officer, all the rumors and the propaganda that they spread, there is a police complaint unit, police complaints unit. The records are there to show. Find out from the police welfare, from the police complaints unit, sorry, are there any reports against Sergeant Fritutu Xavier? Let's go back to the incident in Peru. On that night, the Labour Party unleashed the operatives at my meet and greet in Peru. It is an offense to disturb any meeting. Read the laws and you'll find out it is an offense to disturb any meeting or public gathering. And before I even started this meeting, I saw persons swearing at us, making threats at us. And I will tell you there is evidence to show because I am waiting for them. The operatives disturbed the meeting to an extent where I had to speak to one of them, the one that was in the crowd recording. Just a short clip was shown on social media, which person stated that I threatened a young man. I will not apologize for anything that I didn't do. I will say that right here on this platform. But I must admit because of just the clip that was played, some of my supporters and persons who believe in me, they were scarred. So to them, I issue an apology. I did nothing wrong, but I still issue an apology. But not to the would-be criminals or those persons who want to come to our meetings to disrupt them. I know of my opponent having meetings everywhere. Do the United Workers' Party supporters do these things? Not at all. We are not that kind of people. And that's for the very same reason I chose to be on this platform with the United Workers' Party. But I want to send a very strong message to the people of Vieux Fort North, who are the operatives of the St. Lucia Labour Party. We'll be having several other meetings. Try it again. We will not disturb your meetings, and we will not accept you all coming to disturb our meetings. This is a different breed of United Workers' Party candidates right here. We've said it before. It's a different breed. I am very concerned about national security. And this goes to show when people condone these kind of behaviors, what do you expect from them? If it was my son who went to do that by any political meeting, I would make him apologize to the nation. And that's the way I stand. People of St. Lucia, we have reached a very sad day in this country, where the wrong is glorified and people support would be gravitated towards money, promises, and not reasoning on what's right. St. Lucians, the wider world, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Xavier, the endorsed candidate for Vieux Fort North. And you heard he gave you an account of what is taking place vis-a-vis the St. Lucia Police Force, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and of course, he indicated to you some of the actions of the opponents in his constituency, actions that should not be condoned, should not be encouraged. But what do you expect from a government that does not have the authority, the legitimacy, or the wherewithal to speak authoritatively on the subject of crime? It is small wonder that under their watch, crime has escalated and national security has become a nightmare. Again, I want to say to the people of the South, do not allow the slaughter that was taking place in Vieux Fort to be substituted by a butcher, because that is only more of the same. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now call on the Deputy Political Leader of the United Workers' Party and the endorsed candidate for Castries Southeast, Mr. Guy Joseph, who will pretty much give a synopsis of what has been said, in part in the Creole language. I'd like to call on Mr. Joseph.
Thank you very much, Mr. Montut, and thank you to my two colleagues from Vieux Fort North and Vieux Fort South. Now, I must say that they both have done a good job on the issue of the Creole. I will just re-emphasize some of what was said. But it is important for us, and as I bring you special greetings from the leadership of the party and from Castries Southeast, to all our viewers and listeners in the diaspora, it's a pleasure to meet with you every Tuesday as a party to address issues and concerns and to bring the truth to light to the people of St. Lucia. I want to be able to highlight a few issues. Just before I go into the Creole presentation, you would have followed the news report by some medical doctors and community health providers who are described as persons who are on internal contracts and they have not received their back pay. You would have heard the report indicating that for almost 7 months, yet the government has promised another set of back pay to public servants, and a well-deserving one at that. No issues that they should not get a back pay because the cost of living managed by this government is out of control. Mwen vle mande Saint-Lucie en question. Est gouvernement Labour Party sa ni bay kont moun, docteur, nurse, ek moun ki responsable pou pren ke santé moun an pays. Paske, lem regade manye yo ka traité se docteur ek se nurse la. Ek travail la yo ka depan asou se moun sa a pou fe. Ki manye ou sa voe an moun an travail, ek ou pa bay pièces zouti pou fe travail la in pou fe a. Ou pa ka bay sa ki nécessaire pou y sa fa un bon travail. Ek pou fe bay pli mauvais. Même gouvernement ki di nou an, well, ou pas sa jwen santé free of charge an l'hôpital la, ou n'po lancer health center. Bon, mwen vle mande moun Saint-Lucie, est moun te jemen l'abitil ka paye desou pou pièce service yo ka hen an health center an pays ya. Bon, si se docteur sa ki ka travay an se place sa, ek pou 7 mois ou poko paye yo back pay ou pon met la, ek ou ka di yo pa qualifié, so yo ka fait même travail la tout les autres moun ka fait. So accord di gouvernement le baka pa wet that yo just vle pini se docteur ek se nurse la en Saint-Lucie. Bagay sa ni pou dou bout. Monsieur Philippe Xavier, ou se premier ministre Saint-Lucie, ou ni quantité docteur qui ka travaille avec moun qui ken de moun pour manager santé yo primaire, ek ou wifize paye yo. Mais pour ba élection kay vini di bien vitement, ti qui pa travaille pour moi, c'est a ou kay paye yo. Ek sa bon, because they hot kite du bout paye yo. But what's about se moun nan ki ka travay la? Se docteur ek ou pon met yo, ek ou pa ka chen pon met la. Now, St. Lucia, I want you to remember that this is a government that continues to promise but fails to deliver. Yeze pou fè pon met. Se pou chen pon met la. Se la ou ka we ki moun ki vweman min sa yo di. Isn't it the same Philippe Xavier who promised people who are earning $4,000 or less that their salaries would be tax-free? Kome moun Saint-Lucie ki ka fe $4,000 ek yo still ni pou paye tax ek mi eleksyon haka vini. So an pon met ki te fet preske 5 l'année ki pase, gouvernement poko chen ni, ek ki pan pièce attention pou chen ni. Même gouvernement Labour Party Philippe Xavier menti ban nou, ek di nou 2.5% de levia c'était pour santé ek pour security. Bon, antan debay that Monsieur Callix Xavier parlait about. Si ou ka collect 44 millions de dollars pour l'année, ou pas sa paye insurance et police là-bas yo a sous ça? Ou pas sa paye se docteur tibak paye ou pour mettre là? Parce que ou ka collect 44 millions de dollars à sous nous en Saint-Lucie. Saint Lucia. We must stop allowing politicians to play their tricks on us, and we must hold all politicians accountable, whether in UWP or SLP. So if the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party is collecting $44 million from the 2.5% levy, you mean they cannot find $600,000 out of that to pay the medical insurance for the police? Yo passage jouen $600,000 à 44 millions de dollars yo ka collect la pour payer pour insurance la bay se police la. Yo pas sa paye yon de docteur anti-bac pay. So c'est l'argent ça Labour Party ka collect la. Qui ça yo ka fait pi? Est-ce ça c'est l'argent nous ka wè qui ka lance candidate la? Et kou hatan? Yo ka spend pour dernier 2 semaines qui passé là, yo ja dépensé presque $1 million pour launch des candidats. Côté c'est l'argent ça a sorti. Saint-Lucie, mande ko question ça. So, which Labour Party wish qu'on that yo ni autant l'argent pour dépenser pour launch yon candidate en haut $400,000 et ou vle faire 5 yon de l'autre c'est en haut $2 millions et pas du temps qu'a dépenser $2 millions ça la pas nous mettre l'hôpital. Insurance la bay se police la pas payer. Bulletproof vest la ou pour mettre yo. Et moi vle expliquer ça. Si l'on sa monsieur Xavier dit. Bulletproof vest la c'est pas même gouvernement qui a payé pour lui ou ça. C'est police la même qui a payé pour bulletproof vest yo parce que ça yo fait yo dit OK en jouban nou en hosma en allowance ça chebe hosma ou kay ban nou et gen bulletproof vest et puis ban nou. Saint-Lucie ou comprend ça. So c'est police la fait un gros sacrifice. Yo te ça dit c'est travail gouvernement ben c'est responsabilité gouvernement pour ban nous tout ça nous mériter. Mais c'est police la fort gros ça yo te supposé joindre un bargaining agreement là et yo dit en jouban nou hosma ça a dans allowance ça chebe ide ek servi l'argent ça pour gagner bulletproof vest ban nou. Now pas même Philippe J. Pierre, Ernest Hiller et Jeremiah Norbert qui vini di nou yo ka bay police tout ça yo besoin. So tout ça ou ka bay yo besoin, so yo pas besoin bulletproof vest. Saint Lucia, we have to open our eyes to the reality of the lies of this St. Lucia Labour Party. Today, we heard from Miss Johannes Lady Lee about the launch of the candidate in Vieux Fort. Ek Lady Lee fait un bon travail avec SPT, but moi vle répéter yon de ces bail la dia. Parce que il est important pour nous comprendre. Tout projet qui te ka fait Vieux Fort, Labour Party du bout li. Now, I do sa yo permet because yeze pou permet comme dou c'est chen permet la ki met. So an gade sa Labour Party te permet en dernière élection. Yo di yo kay viye bati commence travail à sous administrative complex la ek yo te kay include a performing arts center en didan. 4 l'année di mi ha passé Vieux Fort. Ça c'est ba ou directement. Dis-moi qui ça ou est qui ja fait Vieux Fort à sous administrative building. Now c'est pas nous qui dit Labour Party marcher sans manifesto yo ça. Yo qui marcher. Mi manifesto a put in you first 2021 Ekusai Ridley as to page 31 under the subtitle Vieux Fort South. Speedy completion of St. Jude Hospital. Ou changer ça yo di nou? Yo di nou tak penti, tak chemical ek St. Jude kay fini. Yo di St. Jude kay fini avant yon l'année, c'est ça m'a te di. Mi 4 l'année di mi ha passé, yo ha dépensé 275 millions dollars. St. Jude poko fini. So lele badu speedy completion ou ka mo speedy pa arrivé. Ou changer Kenny Anthony te do I ka me 100 million na economy immediately. Ek 5 l'année passé immediately pa arrivé. C'est qu'on a Labour Party cooperate. Design and construct. So yo di yo kay construct a boardwalk from Fisheries Complex to Vieux Fort Market. Now, I wonder si c'est un mistake yo fait between Castries Market et Point Seraphine. So, I vle Labour Party a vini explain ba nou. Because kote mo yo ka fa un boardwalk, c'est un Castries. Et, let me read manifesto I ka di. Design, construct a boardwalk from the Fisheries Complex in Vieux Fort to the Vieux Fort Market. Est la na boardwalk en Vieux Fort. Vieux Fort. Pas même Kenny Anthony Ametan qui te ka complain about Fisheries Complex la yo pa même fanyen a Fisheries Complex la bali. Vest ownership of house lots to residents in Vieux Fort Town, Cantonment and parts of Larishus. Now, Xavier Fort, ou kay sa répondre question sa pli me passé moi. Combien des autres qui a joint papier terre en Vieux Fort? Now, ça c'est un homme qui était premier ministre Saint-Lucie pour 15 l'année. Et pour 10 l'année que choy y a opposition. So pour 15 l'année ou c'est premier ministre. Ou pas ça fait 5 bay ou pour mettre à dans manifesto. Now moi lancer les autres manifestos. Moi juste prend dernier. Mais l'année l'autre. Moi ça dou ça yo dit et kou kay wè côté yo manti ba ou Vieux Fort encore. En page 12 a manifesto. Ek le monsieur Butcher vle vin parler. Butcher, qui ça vous a read about Labour Party? Est-ce ou savent qui ça qui te promet? Ek le moi turn about speech you. Moi ka we that who même endorse that Kenny Anthony c'est pli go failure à tout moun qui a représenté Vieux Fort. Because si ou vini ek ou sa we tout se bay sa te me ou te fait ek se ou ek Kenny Anthony qui te in charge. Now moi vraiment do anti question. When people want to present themselves as persons of integrity and you all want to attack Elisha Norbert for his involvement in politics and being a teacher. When you were Kenny Anthony's campaign manager, what was your job? Where did you work during that time? I'm asking you this question, and I hope that you will give an honest answer to the people of St. Lucia. So, were you above board? Were you being ethical? Were you showing true integrity? Because when my wife was a teacher and I was running in politics, she didn't come on my platform to speak, and she didn't even wear my own t-shirt. Even if I am her husband. So I want to know, because Labour Party hot vle bay yon set moun yon mizi, ek hot vle bay an lot set moun an diferent mizi. So pa di tan te ka dwe save Xavier for ek sa yo kay fe. Es ou te read page 12 of manifesto a. Ek se pa just read page la. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. A supportwe a la, ka moutwe an go bâtiment ki ka porte tourist vina peya. Ek tan sa ki an le equity a la. Continue plans for a cruise port in Vieux Fort and the enhancement of cruise in Castries port. So, ou Labour Party promet a 2021 manifesto that you can continue plan. Now, the only way you can continue plans is because there was a plan before. That's what the word continue means. And I think, Mr. Butcher, you would understand that, being a teacher yourself. So you would know that continue plans for a cruise port in Vieux Fort. So si Labour Party di en 2021, you can continue plan. Ça mean la te hana plan. Pour qui ça nous partant dans la kaina en cruise port en Vieux Fort. Et pour qui ça même Labour Party a essayer un agreement avec GPH dans la pakaini pièce port kabati en Vieux Fort. Moi vle Labour Party a espitier ça ban nous en Vieux Fort et en Saint-Lucie. Now, so abandonner porte là. Ou abandonner porte là. Là, moi, je vais des questions ça. Ça qui veut grounds là en Vieux Fort. The Maslin grounds. Moi, ni c'est portoué à. Monsieur Bouchaouté là, nous tous les détails, même la thème Vieux Fort qui prend place là. Et moi, tiye c'est portoué roof grounds là. Pour moutou half pani galvanize. Tout se fait à Hawaii. Mais ou ni l'enterre Janvier Fort, il pas qu'après $400,000 pour te sa ranger grounds là. Ou pas di Labour Party ranger grounds là. Mais ou di Labour Party dépenser $400,000 à sou pour lunch. You see, St. Lucia, we must open our eyes. If you are truly concerned about the well-being of Vieux Fort, how is it that Dr. Kenny Anthony, who is presenting you to the people of Vieux Fort as his replacement, as Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, he could not influence $500,000 out of the $80 million that Kenson Kazeme got from the National Lottery's loan They could not get $500,000 to spend on the grounds in Vieux Fort. Mais les bahote pour honte. Pas te supposé vini ek parler by moun about ki sa hot kay fe Vieux Fort. You see, St. Lucia, I want us to understand something. The Labour Party is speaking to us as if they are in opposition. All the candidates they have changed, they are behaving as if the Labour Party is in opposition, and all of a sudden, when they win elections, they will do things. But you have forgotten that you are in government. So, St. Lucia, health and safety, Monsieur Xavier parlait about ça. Ou pas sa bay se police la en bulletproof vest. Celle sa Labour Party fait bay Vieux Fort, c'est met en tâche à sous Vieux Fort. Ek Lady Lee, yon a se premier bay la ou ni pou fait, le ou gen élection. Ou ni pou tiye vieux tâche sa yo me à sous Vieux Fort of escalated crime zone. Ça c'est un vieux tâche qui a sous Vieux Fort. Ga combien de temps nous pour autant rien really fait à Powers Vieux Fort même, the town of Vieux Fort. Now, si gouvernement pas paye insurance c'est police là ba yo. Bon tant ça, ek mwen vle même c'est police là qui pour travail pour ces rallyes. Ou ka dépenser $400,000 en les yon rally. Mais ou pas sa paye insurance c'est police la ba yo. Ki manye sa korpowe? C'est lisi an mande konou, est gouvernement sa sérieux? But I want the police and St. Lucia to remember, it was a United Workers Party that negotiated with the Police Welfare Association and established the insurance for the police. It was a UWP government that put in the duty-free or the reduction in duty for the police and the nurses. It's a UWP that continues to work in the best interest of the police. Now think of it. We want these men to protect us. We want them to protect the country. But the government is neglecting to meet the basic needs of the insurance. And while we are that, for the people who have questions in their minds as to whether the UWP has the capacity to do the national health insurance, as we spoke about, what's the amount you heard Mr. Xavier spoke about? $75,000 health insurance for the police. And what is the premium? $900 a year. So le gouvernement flambeau dit, le nou gen élection sa, nou ka me yon health insurance en place pour whole set lisi, ek nou ha sav ki pou y ka koute nou. Nou sav sa nou ka parle about la. Because nou ja fey bay se police la avant. So c'est pas l'histoire nous ka vin dou ici. Nous ka dou sa nou ka y fe. Le nou dit our 7 SOS, Save Our St. Lucia. Vieux Fort kay ni a chay benefis from sa. Parce que ou kay sauver l'argent. 10% la ou ka paye a sou water bill ou pou dredge rozo dam sa ka sorti. Mwen vle ou kopan. Health insurance kay en place pou tout moun. So tout moun kay jwen un bénéfice. Parce que si nou pa fè ça, nou pa kay sa manager bagay manye si pose ye. Combien barbecue ou kay sa fè pour ça aider moun pour payer pour santé yo. St. Lucia, We have a situation on our hands. We have the highest rate. Solution to where we are is to get health insurance in place. And you see, Labour Party starts things, and I will tell you, just to make a point. I heard the Labour Party candidate for Castries South is boasting about lights for the Forestier playing field. But let me tell you how the Labour Party operates so you understand. When they want to fool people to vote for them, they come with some ideas. As we speak, Odsa has lights on the playing field, and for the last 4 years, these lights are not on because the electricity bill is not paid. Did you hear me, St. Lucia? So you think it's just the police they're not paying insurance for? The Wavin Poisson Court. I have a cottage meeting there tonight. They asked me to bring my own lights because the Wavin Poisson Court has been abandoned and the lights that we placed there have not been working for years. The Tiroche Court, Tiroche Castries, it's a good corporate citizen who has been paying the light. So the Labour Party is pretending that they care about young people. They will put facilities for young people, but they abandon the facilities once the election is over. And you can go to the is it Philip Maslin grounds in Vieux Fort? I gade se galvanisme la lesa. Tout ça a tombé. Ou pas ça même pas ouais. Soleil a jugé pour la pluie en bas ça. Et tout ça nous attend, c'est les bacs à juste dépenser l'argent. 6 mois ou pour payer insurance, c'est police là-bas yo. Mais vous voulez ces police là qui travaille qui fait tout bail ex yan yo. Qui moun qui responsable pour yo. So St. Lucia, you have an opportunity to evaluate for yourselves who is best placed to deliver better quality health care. You have a choice to make about who is best placed to manage the crime situation that we have in St. Lucia, and who is best placed to reduce the cost of living. Labour Party has been in office for the last 4.5 years, and they have proven to us that they cannot solve one of these problems, far less for all three. So I'm saying to us, let us make up our minds. Do not be fooled by the fanfare you see happening. You know how many of my people go to the motorcades? You know how many of them get the free drinks and a little money in their pocket to spend? That's the nature of the politics. But do not be fooled by that. The people know that things are not good with them in this country. The farmers of the country knows that they are better off under UWP government. The nurses, the teachers, the students at Sarafa, you will be better under a UWP government. Our police officers, we will do more for the police officers than what has been done in the past. You will be better. Our bus drivers, our taxi drivers will be better off under a UWP government. And in closing, I want to say to everyone, if you re-elect the Labour Party, you are going to get more of the same. Say, pli worse by Kaivini. I want to profit the opportunity to tell the people of Castries Southeast, and I want to be very clear. Castries Southeast is going to have a constituency motorcade on the 12th of October. That's Sunday the 12th, my memory serves me right. That motorcade will begin in Forestier. We'll be going around the constituency, and then we will end up for a public meeting in cul-de-sac. Now, I know other constituencies may want to join us, but you can join us for the public meeting. I want the motorcade to be for Castries Southeast. Because you can pren moun tou patoup, you can mene vinyek, you can do se motorcade yo. UWP in Castries Southeast is going to have a motorcade. Now, if other persons choose to join us, we will do a separation between Castries Southeast. So we will do our video of just the vehicles of Castries Southeast, and when it ends, we will say that's where Castries Southeast motorcade ends, and the others we can show after. Because I want to settle the minds of people that the people of St. Lucia have made up their minds that the St. Lucia Labour Party cannot govern this country. There's a lot more to be said about the police, but we will deal with that at a later time and a later date. But I want to reassure you, I am proud of the team of United Workers' Party. I feel relieved that we have some very good quality candidates, and that UWP, the prospects for UWP is a bright future. And a bright future for UWP is a bright future for St. Lucia. So, St. Lucia, let us remain focused. Let us wait on the Prime Minister as he calls the election. We know that he is a bit afraid of calling it. But the last thing I will say to the people of Vieux Fort, ask yourself, since in the 2013 manifesto, the Labour Party promised us education for our children from birth, I want to ask you, are the promises being made, are they new? When they introduced VAT on us, and it's on page 13 of the 2011 manifesto, this is what they said. Government must respond to the growing and changing needs of its citizens. Among these are the needs to ensure that, and that is under the subtitle, the value added tax, VAT. All children from birth to get access to quality education. All citizens have access to affordable health care. High-risk groups get efficient social protection services. The population be serviced by an efficient public service. Our country has a sound, well-maintained stock of infrastructure. I want to ask you, from 2011, this was promised in the Labour Party manifesto. They introduced that, collected over $300 million. Have any of these things materialized? Philip J. Pierre was the deputy at the time. In his own manifesto, the things he promised has not materialized. You think it's the new candidates coming on and telling you we'll do this, we'll do that? They don't even understand the politics yet. These Labour Party candidates, they do not understand the politics. Because if Butcher understood the politics, he would not say what he said there. And Musa, who has been in politics for so many years, is clueless. We didn't go through what he promised in Vieux Fort North, but even the 4 promises he made in Vieux Fort North have not been kept. So St. Lucia, let us remain focused and let us remain resolute to rescue our St. Lucia and to save our St. Lucia from the hands of this reckless administration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guy Joseph. And ladies and gentlemen, as we come to a close, let me just say this. You will find a lot of propaganda, a lot of the false allegations and accusations, as usual, coming from the St. Lucia Labour Party. But be on your guard and do not be deterred or do not be swayed by that. You know, I understand that there is a press release from the St. Lucia Labour Party accusing our candidate for Vieux Fort North, Mr. Callix Xavier, about threatening some individual or whatnot. We will not fall for their propaganda, nor will we be swayed by all the false information that and misinformation that they are putting out. But I ask you to be vigilant. And, of course, wherever possible, we will rebut and we will debunk all of the false allegations that they are making. When people have no answers, that's what they resort to. I want to say that today at our press briefing, we focus predominantly on the South. But before I close, I want to ask the people of the South, Vieux Fort North, Vieux Fort South, Labrie, after so many decades of representation by the St. Lucia Labour Party, what do you have to show for it? As far as I know, everything of consequence, everything substantial that you can find in the South is the work of the United Workers' Party. You have been abandoned, you have been neglected. And so, I am pleased to tell you that there is hope in Labrie with Laura Jean-Pierre Noel. In Vieux Fort North, you heard from Mr. Callix Xavier today, who is our candidate, and his slogan is to take you from neglect to prosperity in the constituency of Vieux Fort North. In the case of Vieux Fort South, Mrs. Leanna Johannes, Lady Lee, will ensure that they remove you, that when I say they, she as your representative and the United Workers' Party will take you out of that branded, escalated crime zone and put you into a zone of development and progress. That is what the United Workers' Party will do for the south of St. Lucia. And I want to say to the people of Vieux Fort, the people of Vieux Fort should not allow the St. Lucia Labour Party to con them into continuing to have more of the same. Because I will say to you, what we have seen, the neglect and abandonment that we have seen of the South, that and a little more will be too much. So the time has come to let them know that enough is enough. Vieux Fort will not be sheep and goats for Kenny's butcher. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. I want to first of all thank the presenters, Mr. Callix Xavier, Leanna Johannes, Lady Lee, Mr. Guy Joseph. I want to thank all of you who joined in today via live stream, especially those of you in the diaspora. We want to thank you, and we ask that you stay tuned to the United Workers' Party as we continue to shed the light on the truth, and we continue to address the issues and the subjects that are of interest and concern to you. Tomorrow, you can join us for Meet the Opposition, and on Sunday, we'll have our Flambeau Live in the constituency of Grosley. In the meantime, there are multiple cottage meetings, public meetings, and so on taking place around the island by our candidates. Depending on where you are, avail yourself of the opportunity to hear our candidates and to find out what plans that the United Workers' Party have in stock for you, the people of St. Lucia, to save our St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Our country demands transparency and honesty, not stories that simply don't hold water.